One of the most common things people say to me is, I can't afford carnivore, or carnivore is way too expensive. Here's the true cost of carnivore. Some of the biggest concerns that people express to me is the cost around carnivore, that it is so much more expensive than doing the standard American diet or, whatever diet they currently are on. This kind of got me thinking, what are the actual monetary benefits or negatives of doing carnivore versus the diet that I had been doing previously? So I delved deep into what we were spending, what we're spending now, and some other things that are kind of intangible but have later on monetary improvements. And I kind of wanted to show you guys what everything looks like. Overall, I can tell you we save a lot of money. And I knew we saved money because, well, the way I had been eating before we started carnivore, it was actually putting us into debt. I was eating my stress, and ironically, being more in debt made me want to eat more, but eating more put me more in debt. It was just terrible cycle. So I went back and I looked up everything. I compared April of last year, of 2022, before I started carnivore, to April of this year. And here's the breakdown. And I'm going to be honest, you guys, I'm quite embarrassed to admit this, but facing it, man, powerful motivator. In April of 2022, 2 months before we started carnivore, we spent $1,328.80 eating out. That is astronomical. Now that is for the entire month of April, but that is absolutely mind-boggling. That's like $350 plus every single week. On top of that, we spent $427 on groceries. That means of April 2022, our food bill was $1,751.80. When I added that up, I actually wanted to cry. That is so much money. So much money. Started carnivore June 28th, 2022. Now, of April 2023, we spent $180.26 eating out, and our grocery bill was $465.32. That means a sum total of food for Scott and I, we spent $645.58. That is $1,200 in 1 month of saved money on food. What makes this even worse is the 2022 April bill. I imagine out of the $427 we spent, I'd say we probably threw at least $300 of food away, of food we bought and didn't eat, or food we got from the grocery store and didn't eat, of things expiring, which makes it even more nauseating knowing that we probably threw $200 to $300 of food away then. Now, we throw nothing away. Scott is wonderful and eats all of our leftovers, but we do not throw things away. The most recent thing we have thrown away is when my mom came to visit and she was doing ketovore. Scott's laughing because we hadn't thrown anything away in like 9 months. We threw an onion away. We threw some broccoli away.
A whole bag of broccoli
from Costco. And then a head of cauliflower away. It was actually quite painful throwing the old moldy veggies away and just thinking about the money I was putting in the trash. I want to break these numbers down a little bit more so you kind of get an understanding of how I came up with what I did. Of the April 2022, I just added it up from our credit card statement. That's exactly how I did. And for our April 2023, I added up what we spent going out to eat for like my sister's birthday, and then the couple times we did Buffalo Wild Wings. And there's like 3 different Starbucks for my lovely venti blonde Americano, which if you haven't tried it, it's espresso, water, and I put heavy cream, and it's delicious if you need a coffee out. Anywho, so for the cost of eating, I did a high cost per person per day and a low cost per person per day. The high cost included 1 pound of ribeye, which we paid $10.50 per pound, getting it on sale. We have coffee and heavy cream, which I equated to about 50 cents a cup. 2 eggs, 2 pieces of bacon, $2 for that entire meal. Soda, and what I mean by soda, I mean the seltzer water soda, no sugar, no artificial flavor, $1 a day. And then my LMNT one pack, which is $1.50 a day. That for the high cost is $15.50 per day per person. For the low cost, I did a pound of flank and rib, which we got for the lovely price of $4.50. Heavy cream with coffee, the eggs, soda, and half a pack of LMNT. And the low cost is $8.35. Okay, I did half the month high, half the month low. We don't eat ribeye super often as much as we do anymore. So this is still, to me, erring on the side of we're spending, or I'm saying I'm spending more than we actually are, because Scott and I do have burgers, which you can get really cheap ground beef. And I'll have chicken wings, which chicken is cheaper than beef. These kinds of things sporadically out through there. But this is on average what Scott and I now spend per month doing carnivore. There are ways of even cutting that grocery bill down more. I believe in that $180 for eating out April of this year, we had Buffalo Wild Wings 4 times. It is not cheap, and it would be much cheaper if we did it ourselves. The few times that we did do it, things happened and we chose to do that versus actually making our own. But it costs us $6 on average to do the chicken wings for both of us, where it costs $30 to $40 when we go to Buffalo Wild Wings instead. So huge saving that way if you decide not to eat out versus making them at home. This isn't always an option. Maybe you're traveling, business trip, these kinds of things. So there's still options, but if you want to cut the bill down even more, could cut out, like we could cut out the Starbucks, my blonde Americano. I see that as a treat just because we do it maybe once a week. Again, could cut it down immensely. And the other reason our bill was a bit higher is my sister's birthday. That's, once a year. So easy peasy, we can easily get our out to eat bill under $100 a month. And so we would save quite a bit of money that way too. Okay, so right now we know we're saving about $1,200 on average just on food bill. But there's a lot more savings involved on doing carnivore than just the food. And I broke this down. I actually called the pharmacy and got the numbers and everything. I have cut out a handful of drugs and cut down a handful of my medications too. So I broke this down into what I'm saving every month by either not using it or cutting it down in half. Celebrex, I used to take it every single day. I saved $10 a month, not taking it anymore. My fluoxetine, which is my happy pill, it's antidepressant, I take half. So now I save $3 a month only taking half of what I've been taking. I no longer have to take metformin, saves me $4 a month. The Lancets and the glucose test strips, I save about $10 a month, no longer having to do that because I'm no longer a type 2 diabetic. Those are kind of the drug costs. If you take more drugs or your insurance is slightly different, this could vary greatly for you by reducing these. The medications I take are some very generic, basic ones, but when we're now talking about like high blood pressure medications, high cholesterol, statins and stuff, the price goes sky high on how much you're spending on drugs every single month, okay? Some other things. We save money now every month because I used to get the premium health insurance. I was going to the doctor all the time. I was sick all the time. Now we save $40 every month because I went from the gold plan to the silver. Because right now, I don't need to go to the doctor at all, ever. But I do just to track my metrics. But I actually have no need to, which is a huge thing because I used to have to need to go to the doctor all the time. Some other things. We moved our trash pickup from every week to bi-weekly. When we lived in Arizona, we didn't have this option that I know about, but where we are now, we literally save $60 every single month because we make so little trash, they come every other week to pick it up, that we don't need them to pick it up weekly. $60 a month, just having our trash picked up every other week. Like, that adds up. That's $720 a year in just trash pickup savings. That's a lot of money. Things like we use less trash bags, we use less water, we use less power. Why? Because I am not, as obese as I was, and I don't have these spikes in my glucose, so the AC that we have to run during the summer, hardly at all. Just the really, really like 85 plus temperature days do we run it. No need. We can use a fan in the window at night. I'm not like sitting there sweating profusely anymore. Huge cut down in our power bill because we don't have to run the AC like we did. Gas on the stove. We don't hardly use the stove anymore. Sometimes we'll cook things in the oven, but very rarely. It's cut down a lot on that. And gas for the car. I actually calculated this out. April of last year to April of this year, we save on average at least $40 every single month on less gas because we're not driving to go get fast food. We're not driving to go to the restaurants every single day. It's cut down so much on our gas bill. I added that all up, and that saves us $219.75 on average every single month. So we're currently at $1,306.22 in savings. All right, so those are some of the bigger things that we save money. There's probably plenty of other things I just haven't thought about for saving money. I made a list though of things I couldn't quite put a number on, but I absolutely know they save us money now and will absolutely save us money in the future. So let's go over that. We walk places now. We can walk to the grocery store. We, the other day, decided instead of driving to the movies, we decided to walk there. This, yes, reduces gas, but it also reduces wear and tear on my car. Less replacing the tires. We don't have to get the oil changed as frequently. There's so many things with driving less that impact less expense on the wallet down the road. Mental health. This one, I couldn't even begin to give a number to because I probably would have given almost anything, my right arm, just to have felt better about myself. This has such a big impact in ways we don't even understand. Here's an example. In Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, the first chapter is stand up tall with your shoulders back. We see ourselves, even if we don't know we're doing it consciously, in this hierarchy of a system. When we feel bad about ourselves, we see us at the lowest rung, right? We're just not worth much. We're not really great for society. We just don't have any motivation. But when we stand up tall with our shoulders back, when we're feeling good about ourselves, we literally can increase our income. Why? We're more productive. We're happier. People want to be around us. You're more likely to get promoted. You're more likely to get a better job. All of this from just eating carnivore. All right, so we've talked about mental health, but how about the physical health? This also plays into the mental health. But if you are standing up tall, you're feeling better, you're moving around more, it affects how our body functions. And this still directly affects into the mental health because if you're feeling like crap, you're going to look like crap and you're going to do kind of cruddy work at work, why is anybody going to promote you? I mean, that goes for me too, right? Why would anybody want to promote somebody that is, kind of lulled down and just feeling bad and has to take constant sick days? I mean, this is just the reality of it. When people miss a lot of work, they're less likely to get promoted. And just the way things are, the people who are obese are less likely to get promoted, period. This rolls into less doctor's appointments. You are healthier. You are less sick. We are going to the hospital less. That hospital visit that kind of started all of this for me was over $10,000. I mean, that's a lot of money for one visit. I mean, a lot of money. These are things that doing carnivore decreases the cost over time. You have to go to the doctor once a year for your annual. Boom, done. What is that, like $10 to $20 copay versus going every single month, every 3 months, seeing specialist after specialist, and those things are usually like $50 a pop. And now we're talking thousands of dollars that you're spending out of pocket that you no longer have to spend. And Scott thought this was the best one. Reduced stress on your spouse or family. The amount of stress that I put him under because I was sick, obese, depressed, sad, anxious. I can't honestly even imagine being on the other receiving end of my sadness, my constantly saying I wish I wouldn't wake up in the morning, not doing anything because I physically couldn't and didn't want to because I felt so bad, the fact that he had to go grocery shopping all the time, he had to get me food all the time, and the fact that I will admit, would emotionally manipulate him to get things when he knew it wasn't good for me. That hurts me the most, and it probably hurt him the most, just that emotional manipulation because I wanted what I wanted and just didn't care about anybody else at the time. I cared about fixing what was going on over here with my emotions versus him. If you have animals, one, if you're losing weight, hopefully if you have an overweight animal, you have them lose weight because it's really bad for them to be overweight. We walk our dogs every single day. That improves their health, physically and mentally. They go to the vet less. If you have an animal, you have to take them to the vet. You know, it's very expensive. So them having better health, because I'm doing carnivore and getting better health, means I spend less money. And it just kind of random one I had is I wear less makeup. If you are a woman, you know makeup is very expensive. Now, the most you're going to get from me is an eyebrow pencil and some mascara, and I'm done. I'm not buying foundation and highlighter and lowlights and all this other stuff, because we're talking that's hundreds of dollars, probably every few months to maintain a full face of makeup, and I just don't do that anymore. So, heck yeah to carnivore, to saving time, energy, and effort with less makeup. All right, so we've talked about the actual tangible amount of money that we're saving, over $1,300 a month, right? We've talked about the intangible, the mental, and the physical benefits. But I want to also point something out. You don't have to have a ribeye half the month. There are so many ways you can save money. A couple things I just kind of want to go over. Shop meat deals. That is how we have gotten our meat on sale. We have deep freezers that we save them in. I know everybody isn't in the position to have that. Doesn't matter. Stuff your freezer in your house as full as you can with meat that is on sale. It requires you put a little bit more effort in looking every single week to see what's on sale. Sometimes this does dictate what you're going to eat that week because you're eating the meat that's on sale if you don't have a lot of room to store it. That's okay. You can still get quality meat at a cheaper price to save. The second thing is buy what you can afford. I cannot afford panda massage meat, as Dr. B would say. We don't buy Wagyu beef. We don't buy the super expensive stuff. We buy choice USDA meat most of the time, not even prime. Buy what you can, because any kind of carnivore diet is going to be better than the standard American diet, period. There is a huge push to eat grass-fed beef and this and that, and if you can afford it, great. But let's be realistic, most of us cannot afford it, and that is okay. We're talking like 1% to 2% improvement having grass-fed versus regular standard, grain-fed meat. Focus on the 98% better eating the carnivore diet is over the standard American diet. Don't focus on that 2% that it's just 2%. Focus on that you're 98% eating better compared to what you were. The last way I want to mention saving is buying in bulk. And I'm not just talking about Costco, but buying things like pork shoulder, pork butts. They make really big portions and you can get those things. I've seen them for $1.99 a pound. So if you eat a pound of meat at night or whatever the meal is you're eating, that's $2 per adult per pound. You could get your daily expenses for like a low for $4 to $5 a day. Here's the thing, there's a trade-off for it. We have to be willing to put in the footwork to do it. We can't just go to the store and boom, buy what's there, because you have to be willing to look for what's on sale. And I cannot emphasize this enough. There are trade-offs in life. We cannot have everything. You want a cheaper price, you're gonna have to put a little more effort in. If you don't care about price, then you don't have to put as much effort. There is a trade-off that goes on here. Thank you guys for taking the time to listen. Every time I make a video, it's so insightful for me and Scott, and hopefully for you. I challenge you. Do what I did. Go back, pick a time before you've been carnivore and pick a time you've been carnivore now and compare what you've spent on food. I think you'll be very, very surprised on the savings that you're having each month. And also don't forget, look at places you can save. We had no idea that we could go to bi-weekly instead of every week with our trash. That's $60 a month, right? That's 5 ribeyes a month for us extra we can have because we're saving on trash pickup. There's places to find and save money. You just got to look for them. Here's the dog licking out of the water bowl. Rosie, they're channeling Rosie's spirit right now.
Good black dog.
Is that the black dog doing it?
It is the black dog doing it.
The little black dog's channeling the big black dog. As I actually calculated it up. I actually added that up. I started